Why women leave good men. For the past few years, I've been working as a relationships coach for men. And there's a common pattern that I notice with a lot of the guys who come to work with me. And that is this: you are not in control of your emotional world. You think you are, but you're not. And women can feel this. Women are very put off by this. In fact, it makes them feel so unsafe that they have to then start acting like a caregiver to you. And eventually, they end up leaving. Let me give you some examples of how this plays out in a lot of relationships. Number one, being passive aggressive. A lot of guys don't realize how passive they are around meeting their needs and expressing what they actually want. We've learned that in order to receive love, we have to hold back and let other people go first and take care of all of their needs before we take care of our own. And what happens when our needs don't get met? Well, we tend to feel hurt. We tend to get angry. We start to get upset. And then we make snooty comments, or we show up with a bit of resentment in our conversations. And all of this is ultimately our own responsibility, but it makes her feel like, what the heck? He doesn't ask for what he wants and then he gets upset because he doesn't get it. So this is passive aggressiveness. And it often shows up when we feel that our needs are not worthy or that we have to put the other person's, i.e. her, needs first. So this is one to watch out for. Number two, being defensive. A lot of guys don't realize how much of their identity is based on getting away from shame. Shame is rampant among men, among everyone, but definitely among men. And the way that it will show up in your relationship is she gives you feedback or she asks you a question, and then you start defending rather than listening. You start to say, oh, no, we do talk a lot, right? She says, we don't talk enough, or I feel like I want to talk to you more. You say, what do you mean? We talk all the time. Wrong answer. She's expressing a need. Hey, there's a part of me that doesn't feel seen by you. And then you start to defend because there's this little part of you that goes, oh shit, I need to protect myself right now because I'm at risk of not being loved. There's some kind of inner fear that unless we defend ourselves, we're not safe. And this happens a lot more than we realize. If you start to watch yourself in conversation, you'll notice, especially when she's kind of coming at you with some feedback or something that's a little bit triggering for you, a lot of the time we start to defend. And this doesn't feel good for her. It feels invalidating. It makes her feel like, oh, he doesn't actually want to listen to what I have to say. I don't feel seen. And then she starts to close off. Then there's straight up outbursts. Road rage. If you're driving and you start to get angry because someone cuts you off, that makes her feel unsafe. If you are in a restaurant and some guy, kind of bumps into you and you freak out, right? Or you take comments towards you really personally and you get all upset, that makes her feel unsafe. It shows that you're not in control of your own emotional world, right? If you're easily triggered and you're getting upset over stupid things, right? Little things. What does that say to her? What message does that show her about your capacity to control yourself, about how safe of a man you are to her? Then there's holding space. A lot of guys really struggle with what to do when their partner, when she gets upset or she is emotionally overwhelmed, and they just start to talk at her or say, oh, babe, don't feel that way. It's okay. You're going to be fine. This isn't such a big deal. All these ways of dismissing what she's really feeling and trying to actually control it or put an end to it, rather than just supporting her in what she's feeling and just being there with her. Because for a lot of us as men, we see our emotions as problems to be solved. and therefore we see her emotions as problems to be solved. But women and men are often different when it comes to emotional processing. What women need is just to feel safe and supported, and like she has permission to go there, to feel upset, to cry, to be in her emotional world. And when you say, oh, babe, don't worry, it's fine, stop crying, it's going to be okay, everything's good, you're telling her you're not allowed to feel this way. And this is one that a lot of guys get really hung up on. We start to hit her with all this logic about why she shouldn't feel that way or why she should change her mind, when really she doesn't want logic, she just wants to feel safe. So I could go on here, there's a very long list, but so much of these behaviors of how we hurt and ruin our relationships start with our own emotional world and not being in control of it. And as men, a lot of us have been taught, don't be a bitch, don't be a pussy, stop crying. Girls cry, boys don't cry. Right? Any flavor of this message that basically says, like, cut off everything from the neck down, don't feel, dismiss your emotional world, man up. It's really toxic. I'm not saying you should be an overly emotional man or really always processing emotion and telling her all about it. No. But what you should be able to do is be aware of your emotional world, learn about the wounds of things that happened to you in your past that cause you to now be reactive, and do the work to process those so that you can stay grounded, so that you can be in control of your reactions, your responses, and ultimately, this is going to make her feel more safe, right? When you can show up for your own emotions and for hers with a grounded energy and not trying to solve her emotions, but being present with them and in control of your own, everything will change. She'll feel safe. She'll be more relaxed with you. She'll be more open with you. She'll trust you more. And ultimately, these are the conditions that allow love to really flourish. So if you're a man who's struggling in your relationships or your relationship, this is your invitation. It's time to do the work and get connected with your emotional world. I have a 1-hour course. It teaches men how to do all of these things in a better way, process your emotions, hold space for her when she's emotional, become more grounded, and essentially do the work to become a more powerful version of yourself. If you want to learn more, I'll put the link down below. Thank you for watching, and if you want to hear more, subscribe.